You're listening to Empyrion's podcast, Benefits and Beyond. This podcast is a collaborative production involving both artificial intelligence and human creators, blending machine-generated and human-curated content.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to get you well-informed, fast. Today, we're tackling something that's often felt like a bit of a bureaucratic annual hurdle: employee benefits. You know the drill, right? That yearly packet shows up, you pick your plan, maybe squint at the details, and then pretty much silence until next year. But that whole process, it's actually undergoing a massive transformation. Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep today into personalized employee well-being. And we're drawing on some really interesting recent insights, like from reports titled Personalized Employee Well-Being: Beyond Enrollment to Continuous Support. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore how leading organizations are moving beyond just, offering a list of benefits. They're figuring out how to truly activate them, providing continuous, tailored support that actually follows an employee through their entire journey with the company.
Yeah, and this isn't just some abstract HR theory. It's a really critical shift for you, the listener, whether you're an employee trying to navigate all these options, or maybe you're an HR pro designing these programs, or honestly, even if you're just curious about where the world of work is heading. Because think about it, the most meaningful interactions with benefits, they don't really happen during that annual sign-up window. They happen when you get, say, timely help, managing burnout when you really need it, or you find exactly the right support during a big life change like, starting a family or caring for a parent. Or maybe you just feel genuinely seen and valued by your organization at a really pivotal moment. It's about moving from that old checklist approach to creating a real connection.
Exactly. It's like a total reimagining of what benefits even means in the first place. And to guide us through this shift, we've sort of distilled it down to 5 key ways leading employers are building this new era of well-being. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. All right, let's kick off with the first big shift then. It's this idea of carrying personalization far past just that initial onboarding or the annual enrollment rush. So what does this dynamic personalized support actually look like day to day for an employee? How different is it really?
Well, it creates what some are calling always-on well-being. It's a good phrase for it. So instead of benefits being this sort of one-time decision you make and forget, they become more of a continuous experience that adapts to your life. The source material gives some great examples, actually, like imagine getting a little prompt to maybe enroll in a financial wellness program right after you get a promotion, because, that's when it's suddenly super relevant with your new compensation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Or maybe this is a fascinating evolution, I agree. It's moving away from that reactive model, waiting for employees to actively ask for help, which often happens when they're already struggling a bit, and shifting towards being proactive. Organizations are starting to use fairly sophisticated signals and systems to actually predict needs before they surface.
How does that work in practice? What kind of signals?
It could involve things like identifying trends in how certain benefits are being used across the company, or maybe detecting gaps where specific programs aren't getting much engagement, or even tailoring communications based on, say, known or predicted life stages. Someone nearing retirement age might get different info than a new parent. The whole point is for HR teams, or the system supporting them, to be able to act before problems potentially escalate, offering the right resources at just the right moment.
So the real win here isn't just like avoiding a crisis or making it easier to find help. It sounds like it's also about that subtle shift in how employees feel. Like when the company proactively offers something relevant, it must build a pretty powerful sense of, psychological safety, trust. That seems really key from the research.
Definitely. Trust is huge.
Which brings us nicely to the third pillar, providing real-time guidance for real impact. We're all so used to these intuitive, personalized digital experiences everywhere else, aren't we? Think about how Netflix suggests your next binge watch, or Amazon knows what you might want to buy next. It seems natural that today's workforce kind of expects that same level of smart, personalized experience from their workplace tools too, especially for something as critical as well-being.
It's exactly right. And this is where technology, especially things like AI-powered solutions, really comes into play, often using machine learning. These systems can analyze an employee's profile, things like their dependents, maybe their location, past benefit choices they've made, or even those predicted life stages we mentioned. And they use that to provide genuinely on-demand, tailored recommendations.
Like what kind of recommendations?
Well, imagine getting real-time insights right when you need them. Maybe digital support helping you choose the best medical plan for your situation, or guidance on how to manage healthcare expenses effectively, or even just making it super easy to find and access mental health resources without friction. Basically, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of these incredibly complex decisions. It simplifies things.
Right. And I bet the results are pretty clear. Things like higher utilization of these really important benefits, probably fewer basic questions flooding HR teams, and hopefully a much stronger sense of support and confidence for employees trying to navigate these, let's face it, often confusing systems. Sounds like a dream for anyone who's ever, locked their benefits packet under a pile of mail.
It really does streamline things.
Okay, so pillar number 4. This one goes a bit deeper than just the tech itself. It's about understanding how personalization actually builds a sense of belonging. You mentioned trust earlier, and this feels related. It's not just a tech upgrade. It's framed as a trust builder. But I wonder, is there a risk here? How do organizations make sure that this kind of personalization doesn't accidentally make employees feel more surveilled or just put into boxes rather than genuinely seen?
That's a really crucial point, and it connects directly to the bigger picture. The idea is, when the benefits offered genuinely seem to reflect an employee's individual identity, their personal goals, their values, that's when people feel truly seen and supported. The source material emphasizes making employees feel understood, not just tracked or categorized. And there's actually a pretty powerful statistic from a MetLife study mentioned. 72% of employees say that having benefits tailored to their needs would increase their loyalty to their company.
Wow, 72%. That's huge.
It is. It shows how much this matters. And this sense of belonging, it's especially critical today, isn't it? With workplaces often being distributed, remote or hybrid, and increasingly diverse. It's about ensuring not just basic inclusion, but real equity. Thinking about how tailored outreach can specifically help employees navigating, say, complex life events, or maybe managing a chronic health condition, or even just approaching retirement. It ensures they don't feel overlooked or left behind. The key, though, is transparency, being clear about why certain suggestions are made, and also empowering the employee, letting them control their preferences and opt in or out.
That makes sense. So it's not just sort of nice for company culture or a feel-good thing. It sounds absolutely essential for fostering a genuinely supportive environment where everyone feels valued and understood, especially with how complex work and life are now.
But finally, that brings us to the 5th pillar. Using data as a roadmap. This level of personalization, the always-on support, the anticipation, it all sounds amazing. But the big question that pops into my head is, how is this even possible at scale? How do companies actually do this without drowning in complexity?
Yeah, and this raises a really important operational point. This kind of personalized well-being, it isn't truly scalable or even very effective without having clear visibility into what's actually happening. Organizations really need to understand what's working within their current benefit offerings, sure, but also what's missing. And crucially, how different groups of employees, and this is key, how they're actually engaging with the benefits available.
So what kind of data are we talking about? It involves analyzing various things, trends in usage, definitely, but also digging into segmentation data. That could include demographics like location or job type, but also maybe life stage information or even patterns based on how people have used benefits in the past.
Yeah.
And also identifying maybe where communication isn't landing. Finding those gaps is about seeing the whole landscape, not just focusing on one single program or metric.
And this data isn't just for, a one-off annual report card, right? It sounds like it allows HR leaders to continuously tweak, refine, and evolve their strategies over time. It transforms benefits from being the static, fixed thing offered once a year into something living and responsive, a core part of the whole employee experience.
Exactly. That's the goal. With data acting as a guide, as a roadmap, personalization stops being just a nice idea or a boutique offering for a few. It becomes something genuinely scalable and sustainable for organizations, large or small, constantly adapting to the real changing needs of their actual workforce.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for you listening in? We've covered quite a bit, really a profound shift here. It's about moving past that traditional, often kind of passive annual enrollment chore towards something much more dynamic, always on, driven by data, and truly personal when it comes to employee well-being.
The core idea is really about activating benefits, not just listing them on a portal somewhere, and recognizing the entire, often complex, multifaceted journey an employee goes through. It basically transforms what used to be mainly an administrative task into a continuous, much more human-centered experience.
So, as you reflect on this deep dive into personalized employee well-being, maybe consider how this fundamental shift could really change how organizations interact with and support their people, how it might foster not just, basic loyalty, but maybe a much deeper sense of connection and feeling valued. How might this kind of transformative approach redefine the whole employee experience in the years to come? And perhaps, what role might you play in shaping that evolution, whether you're an employee, a leader, or just an interested observer of the changing world of work? Something to think about.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and follow us on LinkedIn. We'll be back with more great content in our next episode.